America is burning from within. Is the United States on the verge of a new civil war? Mexican flags are waving in the heart of Los Angeles. What's happening right now in the United States isn't a scene from a political thriller. It's real, and it's starting to feel like the Second American Civil War has already begun, just with a different face. Could immigration be the spark? Or is the real threat something deeper? Mexican flags are waving in the heart of Los Angeles. What's happening right now in the United States isn't a scene from a political thriller. It's real, and it's starting to feel like the Second American Civil War has already begun, just with a different face. Could immigration be the spark? Or is the real threat something deeper? If you haven't been following the events of the past 72 hours, you're missing a historic moment, one that could change the face of America as we've known it for decades. What's happening, especially in California, strongly resembles the early days of the first United States Civil War back in the 19th century. It all started with an anti-immigrant crackdown that quickly escalated into armed clashes in the streets. A few days ago, the Trump administration, specifically ICE, which stands for Immigration and Customs Enforcement, launched large-scale raids in Los Angeles. The goal was to arrest and deport undocumented immigrants. But what happened went far beyond a legal operation. There were armored trucks, heavily armed federal agents, aggressive raids on stores, restaurants, clothing factories, even donut shops. In just one raid, 44 people working in a factory illegally were arrested. But as soon as the agents left, they found themselves surrounded by angry locals. Is this really America? Or are we watching a dystopian movie? The scenes felt more like something out of an authoritarian regime, not the so-called land of the free. So when these brutal arrests started, the community didn't take it lightly. Massive protests broke out, similar to what we saw in 2020 after the George Floyd incident. But this time, things escalated quickly into what looked like a mini revolution. Molotov cocktails, burning cars, violent clashes with police. It started feeling like the early stages of a civil war. By day 2, everything had completely unraveled. The protests that began peacefully turned into full-blown street battles. Police used tear gas and flashbangs to break up crowds. Then came a shocking moment. Mexican flags were raised in the heart of the city, while American flags were set on fire. So how did Trump respond? As expected, with immediate escalation. In a move not seen since 1965, President Trump ordered 2,000 National Guard troops into Los Angeles, overriding the authority of California's governor, citing an old law called Title 10 that allows federal intervention during emergencies. The move sparked a political firestorm. Governor Gavin Newsom called it a deliberate provocation. LA's mayor said, "We didn't ask for military intervention, and the National Guard hasn't even arrived." She added, "Their presence would make things worse, not better." Trump fired back on his social platform saying, "We've taken control. I won't allow left-wing extremism to take over again." All these statements seem to suggest that this is less about restoring order and more about establishing federal dominance, even if it risks sparking a civil war. But hold on. The US is a federal nation made up of semi-independent states. For the president to send troops into a state against its will is unprecedented and dangerous. It could shake the very foundation of the Union. Even worse, Secretary of Defense Pete Hegseth said that if violence continues, Marines may be deployed onto the streets. Yes, the same Marines who fought and died in Afghanistan, Iraq, and Vietnam, now potentially being asked to face off against American civilians on American soil. So why is Trump doing all this? The raid that set off this whole situation was just one part of Trump's broader hardline immigration policy, a campaign to deport thousands of undocumented immigrants every day with zero tolerance for anyone without legal papers. But in a city like Los Angeles, where diversity is the core of its identity and over 82% of the population in some areas is of Latin origin, a crackdown like this feels more like a war on the community. Many analysts believe this isn't just about immigration. It's a calculated political move. By targeting immigrants, Trump appeals to the conservative right, paints himself as the law and order candidate, and uses the chaos to expand his authority, all during a time of deep political division. So the real question now is America falling apart from the inside? You know, America has never been a fully united country in the traditional sense. It's always been a fragile union of states with different interests and identities. The last civil war left deep wounds. And honestly, what we're seeing today is just as serious. The very idea of America is being questioned. Public trust in the federal government is visibly shaking. But why California specifically? Because California isn't just another state. It's actually the world's fourth largest economy, bigger than France or India. It's home to Silicon Valley, the headquarters of Apple, Google, Meta, Nvidia, you name it. It's the #1 state in agriculture, tech, and investment. Put simply, if California falls, the entire United States is in serious trouble. So what's happening in LA isn't just protests versus police. It's really a direct clash between strict federal policies and local communities who consider themselves just as American as anyone else. Let's ask ourselves, are undocumented immigrants really a threat to national security, or are they victims of a harsh system that, honestly, ignores their humanity? Will Trump succeed in enforcing his security-first approach, or will his policies only fuel more anger and division? In the end, America today is not the same as it was yesterday. The streets are on fire. The government is deploying troops against its own people. The president is threatening to use Marines. So, is this the end of the American dream? Or just another wave of chaos that'll, eventually pass? And you, dear viewer, what do you think? Is America on the edge of another civil war? Will the Union survive this historic moment?